Hey, truth seekers, welcome back. Zach here. It's time to decode some fake news that is a tribute to September 11th, 2001. Yesterday, there was this story written, Woman Falls to Her Death from Oculus Escalator. And this is the monument built where the World Trade Centers fell, September 11th, 2001. The mainstream media post this article at 10:19 a.m., not by accident. Zero doesn't count in numerology. You're left with the numbers 119, 11/9, the way the date September 11th is written in most parts of the world. This happened early yesterday morning, reportedly. February 11th, which is the 42nd day of the year. This happened in New York City, NYC 42, like Zionism 42, like Freemason 42. Who put on September 11th? The Freemasons, the Zionist Jews? Yes, indeed. And for anyone who denies that, that's because you're denying the facts. Our own media told us that Israelis were arrested in New Jersey filming and dancing to the attack. And when they were sent back to Israel, they went on their TV and said that they were sent to America to document the event. If you've never seen my mini videos on September 11th, the date September 11th has everything to do with Zionism and the Zionist nation of Israel. Their flag in Israel is the Star of David. In Gematria, Star of David equals 119. 119, like 11/9. All-seeing eye equals 119. Master plan equals 119. Foundation equals 119. Special number. What's interesting about the date February 11th when you write it out as words is it sums to 187, number having to do with homicide, killing. Here's a story of a woman falling to her death. Also reminds me of George W. Bush, the president during 9/11, who was born on July 6th, the 187th day of the year. The story is that she fell from the World Trade Center's Oculus transit hub, the escalator there. This name, this phrasing, happens to have gematria of 139, like Freemasonry. Freemasonry also sums to 58, like secret society, like George W. Bush, who graduated from the Masonic Order Skull and Bones in 1968. We'll get to why 1968 is important. George W. Bush, from his birthday to September 11th, is a span of 68 days every year, July 6th to September 11th. In the story, they said the woman was 29 and she was with her twin sister. Her twin sister, the Twin Towers. Tragic. Twins Jenny and Jessica Santos, 29, had been heading for a PATH train home to Kearney, New Jersey at 5:30 a.m. Saturday morning after a night of partying in the city, law enforcement sources told the Post. This entire story is made up. 100% fake. The reason they said these women are 29 is because 29 is the first number with 11 numerology after 11. 11's the master number. The World Trade Centers, the Twin Towers, look like massive 11s in the New York City skyline. New York's the 11th state. They said the first plane that hit the towers was flight AA-11. Notice these women. Their names are Jenny and Jessica Santos, JS initials. J plus S equals 29. Supposedly the story is one of the twins pulled off the hat of the other, and when the one reached for it, she fell over the rail and fell to her death. So a hat caused the death of the 29-year-old, you see? 29 with the 11 numerology. They were supposedly traveling to Kearney with the gematria of 29 as well. Completely fake story. And the more we decode, the more fake we see that it is. They said the woman who died was named Jenny Santos, and she was a substitute teacher, the story emphasizes. You know, there's no need to emphasize that she's a substitute teacher. Just say she's a teacher. Of course, the entire story is made up, and there's a reason why. Look at this. The name Jenny Santos in gematria sums to 39. Everything in New York's 39. New York equals 39. Date of establishment, 39. The United Nation there is 39 floors tall. Empire 39, New York, symbolic, Empire State, the word Empire is 39. Remember, there's 39 books in the Old Testament which the Jewish faith goes by. What's more interesting about her gematria, though, is the 156 connection. The word substitute also has gematria of 156. 156, one of the most important numbers in regards to September 11th and what happened on that date. Notice the number 911 is the 156th prime number. 33 years before September 11th, 2001, in 1968, these things happened. 911 was made the national emergency dialing code. World Trade Center construction began in New York. George W. Bush graduated from Yale and Skull and Bones. By the way, Yale equals 43. George W. Bush would become the 43rd president. His father was also a member of Yale, Skull and Bones. Skull and Bones equals 41. His father was the 41st president. In 1968, Space Odyssey 2001 also came out. Stanley Kubrick, who's known for helping the government stage propaganda, plan their events. Look at this. 1968 to 2001, 33 years. When you write out 33, it sums to 156. Just like when you write out Space Odyssey. Space Odyssey 2001 came out in 1968, 33 years earlier. And notice, False Flag has gematria of 33 and 156. The World Trade Centers were built to be destroyed on September 11th, 2001. This was a long-planned ritual, part of the ongoing New World Order agenda. The New World Order is a Masonic, Zionist, Jesuit, Jewish world order. The construction firm that built the World Trade Centers, their name is Magnuson Klemenk Associates. Called them a number of times to ask them what they know, but they will never call me back. Look at their name gematria. 156, the firm that built the World Trade Centers. And with regards to that firm, they're located in Seattle on the 47th parallel. This story came February 11th, kind of like 211. 211 is the 47th prime number. The Freemasons have something called Euclid's 47th problem about how to build a foundation for a structure. The word foundation equals 47, framework 47. Here's a story that's a complete tribute to the structures that collapsed on September 11, 2001. Remember how this past September 11, 2016, Hillary Clinton collapsed? Her husband was the president during the 93 World Trade Center bombing, which was synced up with September 11th. Bill Clinton, for years, been telling people there's no conspiracy with 9/11. Huh? You have to be a moron to not know. You had to be a moron to not know the day it happened. Your nation that spends trillions of dollars on defense and intelligence trying to tell you a man in a cave accomplished all this. What a joke. So anyway, this woman fell from the Oculus escalator. Oculus escalator fall. What's that equal in gematria? Oh, it equals 68. Like the year that 9/11 was planned, the year Bobby Kennedy was murdered by the numbers, Martin Luther King Jr. murdered by the numbers. Did you know they opened the World Trade Centers on the 5-year anniversary of the assassination of Martin Luther King Jr.? He was killed April 4th, 1968. They opened the World Trade Centers April 4th, 1973. That means the World Trade Centers were open for 28 years, existed for 33. If you write out 28, it sums to 156 as well. Perfect number. Number connected to Israel. So, I will link this if you want to read the full article. The two women, the twin sisters. Here's the story about when Jenny's hat fell over the edge, It's just sick, This is the nation we live in. Fake news contrived every day by the numbers, always paying tributes to the history, planned events to come. They love to remind us of September 11th. They point out in the end of the article that this building's only been open for 10 months. When you write out 10, it sums to 39. I just put out a video about Charles Oakley being arrested in Madison Square Garden on the 39th day of the year. And in that video, I educated about 10 and 39 and Madison's 39 proposals that became the 10 Bill of Rights. 10 equals 39 when you write it out in gematria, just like the name Madison. Madison made his 39 proposals in history on a date with 39 numerology. He happened to make those proposals on June 8th, 6/8, 1789. But anyway, just 1039, just like how the woman's name equaled 39. For anyone who wants to do the gematria proof, you want to come over here to gematrinator.com. For these New York proofs, here's how simple it is. When you write out New York, 39, and notice how the word new is 42. This story from the 42nd day of the year. The word empire, 39. MSG, 39. NY, 39. Again, the United Nations there is 39 floors tall. New York was established July 26, 1788. If you do the numerology of this date, if you just add it up, 7 plus 2 is 9, plus 6 is 15, plus 1 is 16, plus 7 is 23, plus 8 is 31, plus 8 more is 39. New York established on that date. The first governor of New York was George Clinton, born in 1739. Another 39. He was governor to Madison. Madison also sums to 39. Made his 39 proposals, again on the date with 39 numerology. I almost forgot that MSG, we just saw Charles Oakley. We just saw Charles get arrested on the 39th day of the year at Madison Square Garden. Another. It is fake news. Yeah, we all saw the pushing match, but understand it's all orchestrated, planned, part of an agenda. Getting Charles Oakley, another sellout athlete, to participate in a psyop, to be a mainstream news story, to spread more propaganda, more racism, more hatred. Some people will watch who are already programmed to be racist and say, oh, there's another violent, dangerous black man. And then the headlines were also about how Charles Oakley was going off on white people. It's all planned, people. This is the nation we live in. Fake news, contrived news on the daily, by the numbers. From the date of this story to September 11th upcoming, the 16-year anniversary, 213 days, that's the number for Nimrod, the original Freemason, the builder. We're talking about towers. And with regards to it being the 16-year anniversary this year, there's been a number of September 11th stories since September 11th, 2001, like Benghazi, which had everybody all caught up. But 16 is a special number, also connecting back to 33, as well as 42. We'll see what they have planned this year for the 16-year anniversary of September 11th. I'd like to think on this, in this year, we'll get justice, The truth will get out about what's going on. And the people responsible will be held accountable. The entire Bush administration, our government, our media, all the frauds that are living free. Don't ever forget what the original definition of terrorism is. It's government by intimidation. By the way, this new Oculus, it stays open for 102 minutes or an hour and 42 every September 11th. And the reason why is because that they say the terror attack lasted 102 minutes or an hour and 42. The terrorist attack. They blamed it on Al-Qaeda. I got to show you Al-Qaeda in Jewish gematria. Sums to 102. 102-minute attack. Also, notice the 41. Saudi Arabia, where they said all the hijackers were from, also has gematria 41, like Al-Qaeda. The date of the attack, September 11, 2001, 9/11/2001. Date with 41 numerology. You see? All planned by the numbers. It was George H.W. Bush. Got to write it right. George H.W. Bush, the 41st president, who on September 11th, 1990, 11 years to the day of 9/11, talked about the New World Order, a world freer of terrorism. And then 11 years later, his son's the president and 9/11 happens. Remember, these people always talk in opposites. When they say a world freer of terrorism, that means more of their terrorism, because more of their terrorism fuels their agenda. Makes it easier to control people, build a police state, steal the wealth, steal the tax dollars. Everything you see going on. And these people are so arrogant in their speech because they know who they govern over. They govern over the spineless cowards. They govern over the characters from The Wizard of Oz before Dorothy came along. No brains, no spine, no heart. People who will go along with anything, who will fall for anything, who stand for nothing. That's America. It's not the land of the free, the home of the brave. It's the land of the biggest fucking cowards, the most pathetic pieces of shit that ever walked the planet. That's who my fellow man is. That's the nation I was born into. These are the people I've been speaking out against my whole life, even before September 11th happened. The people I talk about, if they were to watch this video, they just say, this is stupid. This is a coincidence. Osama bin Laden. Let's talk about Osama bin Laden real quick. Osama bin Laden. Remember 47? The story from February 11th, 211, the 47th prime number. Look at this. Building 7 was 47 floors tall, each floor 47,000 square feet, the third building to fall that day. But notice Osama bin Laden's also 110. That's how tall the World Trade Centers were. A project that was proposed and funded by the Rockefeller family. There was no reason to build the World Trade Centers. When construction began in New York, rent prices were messed up because there were so many vacancies. Landlords could not rent out their properties. There were too many vacancies. So the Rockefeller family comes along and says, you know what we need? We need more office space to rent out. Think about it. Completely illogical. Why would you build massive buildings creating more office space when you already have a city full of vacancies? And for anyone who's done the homework, the majority of the World Trade Centers were vacant from 1968 to 2001. They built those buildings with the bombs in them. The bombs that brought those buildings down were there from 1968 during the time of the underground nuclear weapons testing program. You know how they called the site Ground Zero when it fell down? You know what Ground Zero means? Ground Zero only had one definition before September 11th. The site where an atomic or nuclear bomb detonates above or below ground. That's what Ground Zero means. And by the way, atomic bomb equals 93. 93 World Trade Center bombing. 93, big number on September 11th, Flight 93, 33 passengers. I'm not sure what the total weapons capability is of the powers that shouldn't be, but it's no doubt they have powerful explosives that they've used over the decades, and they used them on 9/11 to bring down those buildings. That's why they called the site Ground Zero. And I was talking about Ground Zero before I knew about gematria. I just want to see what the gematria of Ground Zero is. 62, huh? That's an interesting number. Like Mason, like Torah, coming back to the Jews and the Freemasons and the Zionists. But anyway, there's a million other things about September 11th. I have a number of videos fully exposing what September 11th was. And here's a story. Paying tribute to the same numbers I've been exposing for going on 3 years. Made up story about two twins. One twin sister accidentally killing the other with a practical joke. And that's probably part of the joke too. I mean, September 11th was a practical joke. For the powers that shouldn't be, they'd said, let's see how many of the morons will figure out this obvious lie. Blow up these buildings, blame it on a man in a cave, on 911. I mean, how dumb do you gotta be? Remember George W. Bush, what he used to call Osama bin Laden? He used to call him the cave dweller. Cave dweller. He'd always get on there and talk about cave dweller. Same gematria as Osama bin Laden. Probably created that one in 1968 back at Yale Skull and Bones. And with regards to this story coming on the 42nd day of the year, Skull and Bones, Bonesman, 42, 42nd day of the year, February 11th. I didn't decode the other sister's name. Her name sums to 154, and this story also came a span of 154 days after the last September 11th. But you gotta love it. The twin sisters, they show one of them in a red dress. Red dress equals 92, the reflection of 29. Also sums to 38 like death, 56 like Rockefeller. That's how they do it, Truth Seeker. Every day in your media. For all of you who doubt this work, just take the next bogus article in the mainstream and do a little gematria decoding, you know? Even if you're lazy, it's not that hard anymore with this calculator. This calculator pretty much does all the work for you. All you got to do is type the words accurately. So I'll cut it off here, Truth Seeker. I could go on all day. If you're a coincidence theorist, shame on you. You're the reason we live in this hell. You are why they call us goy. You know, the lessers. The Jewish people who go by the Talmud, they call you goy, stupid, worthless, and the purpose of your existence, to be a slave so that they can live off your labor. And for the majority of America, that's exactly what they are. The only thing worse than the powers that shouldn't be are the American people. Until next time.